Now, today is April 8th, 2024. So I have a reaction. I was watching The Breakfast Club the other day with Dr. Cornel West, and something stuck out, and it came to my mind. And I'm sitting back like, man, is this a mass exodus of the Democratic Party? You know, not only black folks, but if you see what's going on in the world today, you see who's trending, you see what's going on, man. It's a whole lot going on in this world today. And I have a clip that I want to share because Dr. Cornel West was on the Breakfast Club along with his running mate, Melina Abdullah, one of the founding members of the Los Angeles chapter of Black Lives Matters, and she actually is the chair of political science at Cal State Los Angeles. So it's a clear indication that the Black Lives Matters will not be supporting the Democratic Party as a whole, because one of their prestigious leaders is actually on the other side. So when I say mass exodus meaning, you know, we see what we see. You know, you have these platforms, you have all of these outlets, they're promoting and they're protecting their democracy. But if you really pay attention to what's really going on, this is a mass exodus. We see the tales of two parties. You have a sitting president who could barely, fill an auditorium. And then you have Trump on the other side, who's catching cases, going to court every day, and is basically living life as a rock star. So this is an opportunity for us to really come together as a people and understand what's going on. Because like I said, me personally, I do not have any skin in the game. And the organizations that I'm with, we're literally going to protest this 2024 election, because our vote is a vote against democracy. Because if you didn't know, democracy means ruled by the devil. So we got to get the devil out of our lives, because lesser of the two evils is a talking point and selling point that only somebody associated with the Democratic Party can actually handle. So I'm going to share this clip with you because Dr. Cornel West basically, set the record straight. And if you didn't know, he's running as the Green Party candidate. He announced his running mate a couple weeks ago, and she is Melina Abdullah, who is one of the founding members of the LA chapter, Black Lives Matters, and the chair in the political science department in Cal State Los Angeles. So this is a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, and I'm going to react to what Dr. Cornel West had to say. And this is a clip from the Breakfast Club.
As you know, you guys are running independently, and people, when they question the Democrats, or they question Biden, or they question Kamala Harris, they say people are going against their race and people are going against what they quote unquote should be doing. What's your thoughts on that? Because in all actuality, people would say that you guys are questioning them as well.
That's true. That's true. Fannie Lou Hamer said, "I'm questioning America. I'm questioning capitalism. I'm questioning patriarchy. And I'm questioning white supremacy."
Oh.
The folk who want to defend Biden and can't say a mumbling word about the genocide and the ethnic cleansing and apartheid state of Israel, it means they turning their backs. Well, no, we don't come out of tradition like that. We committed to Jamal and Letitia in the hood. We committed to Juan and Juanita in the barrio. We committed to poor whites. We committed to Palestinians. We committed to any folk. We committed to Jews when they catching hell.
Come on.
We around in 1930. We in solidarity with the Jews against Hitler.
Come on.
Now, right now, you got genocide taking place in Gaza. We take a stand, not out of self-righteousness, but because we want to be moral and spiritual. That's who we are as a people, man.
Come on.
At our best. I'm not talking about our worst.
Come on.
At our best.
Watch this.
And therefore, you got Trump, dead up gangster, leading the country towards Civil War II.
Come on.
Biden, war criminal, leading the world toward World War III.
Now, y'all heard what this man said. Man, that's Dr. Cornel West, who's the presidential candidate for the Green Party. He has his running mate, Melina Abdullah. So listen, this is a mass exodus of the Democratic Party as we know it. The Democratic Party is dead in the water. The Democratic Party has no sound leadership. We're literally, working with an operation that's been basically predicated on a broken axle. So when you build your empire on sand and sticks, it's just a matter of time that it actually go down in shambles. And we're watching this now. And I'm telling you, we cannot resuscitate. We have nothing to do with it. And that's Dr. Cornel West. speaking on the behalf of a tribe, speaking on the behalf of Black Americans, speaking on the behalf of people in this country that has been going through hell and hot water and has not had an opportunity to do what's right. And it's all in the catalyst of democracy. So when you talk about democracy, that's the catalyst. Democracy, if you did not know, means ruled by the devil. Democracy supposedly had lost the Civil War, but basically somehow they created the American Creed, which was written by a slave master, and said a democracy within the republic. But this is not the case, because America is a constitutional republic, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. So the only way we can break this cycle is to support, the Green Party, which is Dr. Cornel West and Melina Abdullah. You have the No Labels Party that's going on. And one thing that I'm doing, and my organization and my people, we're basically writing in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And that's, Jews and Gentiles all alike, because in Hebrew and Jews, his name is Yahweh. But in American English, we call him Jesus Christ. That's our only hope in 2024. And we have to break this cycle. So when you have Dr. Cornel West running for president, and you have a running mate in Melina Abdullah, one of the founders of Black Lives Matters and one of the leaders in education, that's basically pulling votes away from the Democratic Party as a whole. Think about that. So they know exactly what they're doing, because God's people shall not perish due to the lack of knowledge. And the people that Dr. King delivered into the burning house, this is time for us to walk out of this burning house and let the chips fall. Now, you have two different sides. You have blacks, which is pretty much about the race, with melanated people, which is no difference than, the Native Americans, which is no different than whites, which is no different than the Jewish community, which is no different than the Latino community. We're literally understanding that it's been our fault all of this time. We should have been working with the Latino community, with the Jewish community, with the Asians, learning how to establish ourselves as independent people, but somehow, some way, we took the wrong deal. Okay, you do know the history of the blacks, stolen from their land, dwelling in a foreign land, casted as slaves, duly oppressed for 400 years. And to let you know that 400-year biblical prophecy will be ending this August. But what I'm saying is, to come into this country as slaves and then think we were going to be free, sign up a deal to be sharecroppers, which working with massa. And then when we were trying to get our freedom and our liberty, somehow in 1965, we cut a deal with the devil. And basically the Voting Rights Act with Lyndon B. Johnson, with Dr. King, basically said, I'll give you all your rights, but you're going to have to vote Democratic for the rest of your life. So I'm here to let you know that we cannot continue to be punished and to be cursed by the decisions that our parents and grandparents and our ancestors were forced to make. We're not being forced to do anything. We have a choice and we have an option. And this is why you got Donald Trump and Biden back on the ballot, because we get an opportunity to choose right this time. We fail for the lesser of the two evils. We listen to, black politicians talk about all of these things. You got to vote for the lesser of the two evils. We start listening to these African Americans. And when I say African Americans do not support their race. African Americans support their beliefs. An African American will put his sexual preference before his entire race. An African American is literally what we call a race traitor, because they want to be a part of this cesspool, a part of this unrighteous culture, a part of the genocidal industry, which is basically destroying our people. But when you choose race has a spiritual connection. Okay, all races have a spiritual connection. Even if you look at white supremacy, if you look at the white Republicans, at least they believe in God. The evangelical Christians, at least they have some type of moral compass. At least, they call themselves conservatives. But if you look at the liberalism is probably the worst thing that could have happened to this country, because liberals really are in opposition of God. And I have to say this because if you look at liberal policies, what happened on Easter? President Joe Biden, the liberal, basically celebrated Easter Sunday at the White House, but he called it Transgender Exception Day. Now, and I could care less about what you want to do as an individual. Okay, I could care less about that. But when you try to, make the whole, all the water murky and basically put every individual's in the same bucket, and then when it's time to get punished, and we all get punished. No, all I'm saying is live your life, do what you're going to do, but allow other individuals to live their life as well, because I'm what they call a heterosexual alpha male. Leave me alone. I don't have nothing to do with you. So when you are a man, a person from your community, the pecking order is God, man, woman, and child, and our woman is connected with us. So a man's job, especially in his culture, in his community, is to lead, okay? Is to lead all people. When you look at the woman, if she's not connected to a man, she's leading women, and then somehow she becomes in opposition to a man. Not by her fault, but that's just how it works. But then you have gays. Gays fight for gays. Okay. Immigrants fight for immigrants. Okay. Transgenders fight for transgenders. Okay. Biracial people fight for biracial. But what I'm saying is when you talk about race is an opportunity for everybody to be on the same sheet of music, and everybody to, get their needs and expectations met. Because here in California, it broke my heart when somehow in the margin of error, Proposition 1 passed, and that's to basically help the homeless, the mental ill people, the bottom of the barrel. When what's wrong with the working class? What's wrong with the middle class? What's wrong with giving everybody a helping hand? But when you talk about democracy in America, that means that you got to fight. You got to have a common enemy, because democracy needs something to fuel. Democracy needs something to point the finger, because democracy cannot stand alone. Just imagine if Joe Biden had to basically speak and talk about any and everything that he has going on, but he cannot talk about the other guy. How would that work out? Then that means he would have to be accountable for all of the things that he has done, but somehow it's a bait and switch. See, democracy literally is something like God. Democracy is a fraud. Just imagine, the devil needs good people to associate itself with so it can actually be relevant. Because if it didn't associate itself with good people, if it didn't attack good people, then how could it actually exist when we will basically just look at it and call it out for what it is? So what I'm saying to you is we really got to understand as a people what we're dealing with. Democracy is demonic, okay? Their democracy is ruled by the devil. America, if you did not know, is a constitutional republic, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. The Republican Party cannot be what they want to be, because on a daily basis, they're being attacked. They're having to deal with all of these issues. Anything that they try to build, the Democrats take it down. Case in point, the Republicans wanted to build a wall to protect our southern border. First day in office, what did the Democrats do? Take down the wall. The Republicans want less taxes. What did they do? They added more taxes. Okay, the Republican Party wanted to be energy independent, developed the Keystone Pipeline. My energy stocks was through the roof. And all of a sudden on day one, they killed the Keystone Pipeline. And now we're literally buying energy, oil, and gas from foreign nations, from Venezuela, which is basically taking them to a whole nother level. So when you talk about America first, the Democrats do not love America. If you look at the money, follow the money. These are foreign nationals. Okay, these are people from other countries that want to destroy this great nation. But we have an opportunity to go on the ballot box and make sure that democracy dies in 2024. When I say democracy, it's not a person, it's not a party. It is basically being ruled by the devil. It is basically calling out unrighteousness, because America is a constitutional republic. And I can say this 1,000 times, a constitutional republic, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, one nation under God. So how do we do this? The black culture and the black community, we got to step up and put on our big boy drawers and big girl panties and make sure that we do not support this system again. Like I said, I just played a clip of Dr. Cornel West, who's running for the Green Party, who basically talked about pulling votes away from the Democratic Party. And we could care less about that because they're giving us two options. He basically said Trump, Civil War, which is questionable, but Biden, World War III, which we are seeing bombs all in Israel right now. And basically, we're literally in a world war, if you really think about it. We know Biden is incompetent. We know Biden is elder. He probably got dementia. It's a whole lot of things going on, but we have to be worried and concerned of who's really making the shots, because I seen them ask President Biden a question. He looked at them and said, that's above my pay grade. So that means he's basically answering to somebody and somebody's pulling the strings. It's literally what we call elderly abuse. So if we want to end this country, if we want this country to, to basically no longer be the greatest nation in the world, and we're going to be responsible for it, then we have to go in and support democracy. But this election, we're not going to support democracy, because this country, this great nation in which our forefathers and our ancestors worked hard to build, it is not going to basically be lost under our watch. If you look at crime, you look at the open border, you look at the immigration, these are all Democratic policies to basically destroy this country. And then if you look at, I'm in California, in LA, you have white women being assaulted, in high-end, communities, to name a few, the Venice canals, the medium home value was basically $4.5 million, but you had a brutal assault on two women. One is still in a coma and one just came out of coma to tell her story. And they was literally just walking their dogs in their community and they was attacked. Look at all the flash mobs that's going on, the smash and grabs. Look at all the policies now that you can actually go into a store, and if you steal something under, $1,000, it's not even a felony. I went to get some underwear, some wife beaters from Target. I had to literally press a button so somebody could come out to basically hand me some merchandise that 2 years ago I can actually just go and just buy. So we got to understand who's driving this right now, who's driving, who's in control right now. Biden is in control. The Biden administration is in control. So we really got to understand that he needs to take accountability and be more responsible for the position that he's in. And when you look at trying to buy votes, the Department of Education is basically, came up with a plan to literally clear the books. But Biden goes out and says, student loan debt, I'm going to help you out. He's not paying your student loan debt. They're basically clearing the slate, getting those defaulted loans off the book, because they got literally billions of dollars of student loans that are not being paid back by these college students. Okay, so I spoke to a group of college kids, and one kid told me that he could give me a scholarship and I would support and vote for him, because the guy said he's a USC student. The guy said, my fiance is Palestinian, and she made me vote for the Democratic Party. So we basically did that. And now they said they feel like they're responsible for the genocide of the Palestinian people. In the Gaza Strip in Gaza, it's at famine proportions. They're basically, the reason they shot the motorcade of the National Food Bank is because they wanted to get the cameras out of there, because they're literally genociding Muslims down there. So when you look at the Palestinian exodus of the Democratic Party, you look at the Muslim exodus of the Democratic Party, and you look at the black exodus, not the African American, because an African American is a member of the LGBTQ elemental P society, and then the old baby boomers who literally are sellouts. And when I say sellouts, Michael Dyson was actually on the Breakfast Club. I should pull it up, but Michael Dyson was on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about, let's just be serious. They're just two, it's just two, it's Trump and Biden. Biden sees us, Biden, he hears us, and he starts talking about Trump, but he could not say nothing positive about Biden. And then he said something that was literally dumb to me, one of the stupidest things that I can ever imagine. He basically said that he believes in the sixth inning theory. The sixth inning theory. And I'm like, what is the sixth inning theory? The sixth inning theory for him is that at the sixth inning of a baseball game, whichever team is actually winning whichever team is actually winning wins the game. So he's basically saying he'll be willing to win by default just because you have, win by default to put Biden in, but nothing good to say. He didn't earn it, but as long as we keep Trump out. Listen, I don't have no skin in the game. And if you want to join us, join what we're doing. We're writing in God. We're writing in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And from a spiritual perspective and a biblical perspective, it's like putting the lamb's blood over our door. It's like putting the lamb's blood over our door so we won't be affected of what's to come, because it's coming. And we have to break these generational curses, because we're being punished today of the decisions that our grandparents, great-grandparents, and ancestors was forced to make because they didn't have choices and they didn't have options. And I'm so tired of Democrats lying about the Voting Rights Act when they say that, our people died to vote. No, they were dying to vote because they were conservative. After the Great Depression, the black nuclear family grew faster than any culture, whites, Asians, or indifferent. Because the God, man, and woman, and child, black men were working, making babies, having families. Okay. And when it was time to go in the ballot box, they had the audacity to vote Republican. That's the truth. Because when you look at the Democratic Party, they was only 1 or 2 generations away from slavery. So they know the party of slavery is the Democratic Party. When you see all the archives, of people getting lynched in the South, blacks getting lynched in the South. One of the ones that I hate looking at is when, the black man is in a suit and he's getting pushed around by these white kids in the South. The water hoses, the blowing up the churches, all of that. That's Democratic. Segregation now, segregation forever. That's Governor George Wallace. Think about it. Think about it. And when you talk about how, history repeats itself, or, all things have purpose. Joseph Biden was a young man and he was a part of the operation. Kamala Harris put him on blast when they did have, Democratic candidates, and they did have, primaries, when she said that he opposed busing. He did, because he's a part of the old regime. He says he's from Delaware and he says he's from the South. And she basically clowned him on the debate stage, and then next thing you know, he's calling her saying he wants her to be the vice president. If you can't beat him, join him. But what has she done other than being the top cop in the state of California and locking up men on the 3-strike rules on epic proportion? And I'm not just saying black men, I'm just saying men in general. So think about that. And when she had an opportunity as the attorney general to flip it, she says, no, we're not going to lose our free labor in the California state prison system. And that's on record. And you can check that out. And if you didn't know, she smashed her way to the top. If you didn't know, she dated Montel Williams, and then she dated Willie Brown, the mayor. Think about it, the mayor of San Francisco. And Willie Brown is on record having a conversation. And as soon as she got the attorney general perspective, she slapped him with a gag order, and he lied about it. And then they asked Willie Brown, did he help her out with any campaign? He said he was the one that motivated her, raised her, and groomed her to be a politician. And he gave her out of his campaign $250,000 when she was running for attorney general. So what I'm saying is, we're dealing in a system to where the decisions that was made in the past are being exposed. And then you have a group of people who are benefiting from it today, and they want to continue on. Okay, forget the inclusion, forget being seen, forget the affirmative actions. This is, this cannot no longer continue, because what I'm saying is, as a man, God's people shall not perish due to the lack of knowledge. And I'm telling you, we have to choose the blood of the Lamb. Go in that ballot box, go to the bottom, write him in, Jesus Christ. And then when we go home, watch television and see the trend and see how many votes that Jesus Christ got. Whoever wins the election will win by default. So therefore, we will be able to go to the White House, sit down with the sitting president, and give him the black plan. If you didn't know, we have a plan. We got a plan of a constitutional amendment to take the slavery clause off the Constitution. The 13th Amendment reads, neither slavery nor voluntary servitude unless criminalized. The criminalization clause is a catalyst for mass incarceration to this day. And that criminalization clause was free labor to build the South back during the Reconstruction period. And if you didn't know, crime pays. If you got a murder of a homicide, every party eats. The police officers get overtime. The detectives got to come out and get overtime. The coroners. Then when you arrest the assailant, you know, the public pretenders, the prosecution office gets to eat. And then the hospital eat. And then if the individual that got, you know, shot dies, the coroners, the funeral home, you know, it's just something, a cycle that we have to break. And we are dealing with generational curses, and we truly got to understand that. We truly got to understand that. So I'm just trying to motivate you and spark your mind of doing something different, because God is a jealous God. We can't make a decision between Lucifer and Satan because it's the same thing. So if we go in that ballot box and write in the blood of the Lamb, we'll be okay. And I like to applaud, you know, my brother, Dr. Cornel West, for having the heart and the courage to basically give us an option. And when I look at him from a historical perspective, it takes me to Dr. King, and it takes me to what they call the I Have a Dream speech, or the March on Washington. Dr. King was basically starting the Poor People's Party, which was a third party option. Okay, and this is what Dr. Cornel West is doing, and I'm a part of the third party option, and we're calling ours the third party coalition, which is, in this election, will be the Never Trump, the Never Bidens, which will basically be a vote against democracy. Because democracy is embedded in a duopoly, meaning you only got two choices. Because democracy is mad and lost the Civil War. So their whole purpose is to take down the Republican Party, which indirect literally would take down America. Because America is a constitutional republic, and Republican, you know, basically by definition means supreme power. So literally the Democratic Party is anti-American. This is why they're so quick to say, you know, that's anti-Semitism and all that, because they know that they're anti-American. How can we be anti-Semitic when the God that we serve was the biggest, strongest Jew ever created on the planet? And we know the truth, okay? We're reading in the Hebrew Bible. We're reading in the Greek. We know the truth. So we cannot live these lies anymore. And think about Hollywood, how if they make you, they could break you, how all of these, you know, culturalistics, you know, these black individuals that took the deal with the devil, because, you know, the devil had told Jesus, if you bow down to me, I'll give you everything. So basically in Hollywood, if you bow down to me and my ways, I give you everything, the Puff Daddies. And look what's happening to him. He decided to have a conversation and talk about reparations. What happened to him? Why are all our black entertainment so silent right now? Question, where is Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union? They got so much dirt on them. If they made a decision or said the wrong thing, it would be worse than puppies. It would be worse. The allegations will be worse. Look what Dwayne Wade did to his son. Look what he did to his son. Now, we got daughters. His 12-year-old, 9-year-old son, they took a family picture with his, you know, let his white male boyfriend be in the family photo. So look what he did to his son. And, you know, basically, you know, allegedly, these things are coming out that Dwayne Wade is living vicariously through his son because he's a part of that operation. Look how, you know, feminized he is. He didn't grow up in that generation. Okay, he's not Gen Z. So when he talks about, you know, his sexuality and all these things, this is why they put him with Gabrielle Union. This is why they put Will Smith with Jada Pinkett. Think about it. See, these are these African Americans, these race traders that's literally designed and coming out to destroy the culture. Okay, because at the end of the day, every race on this planet is God, man, woman, and child. I see Latino families. I see Latina females taking their kids to school. They got one in the stroller and, you know, two walking. You know, I see the Asian community, the white community, but then it's the black community turning their sons into gays. You know, raising their sons feminine. You know, and they really don't know why. But the choices that our ancestors made in the past, we're dealing with this today and in these times. Because think about it, the science of Willie Lynch is powerful. Because back in the day, they said, you know, you take the biggest, strongest, you know, blackest alpha male, you tie a limb to a horse, another limb to a horse, you rip them to shreds, burn him, tar him, feather him in the front of his family. And then you take the second most aggressive male, and then you beat him to a pulp. But the science of Willie Lynch says you don't kill him. Okay, just to make an example. And just imagine the third person. Yes, Ozdu's his boss, whatever you say. But just think about the psychological damage that they have with a woman. And I'm not being a hypocrite, I got it. Just understand the psychology of a woman. She just saw her strong husband, the father of her children, the protector, the provider, get tarred and feathered by whites, So just think about the psychological aspect when she look at her son. Her son's growing up. She got a big baby boy, and her son is getting big, but she's telling him, don't be aggressive like your daddy. Be more like your sister. Be feeble-minded. And when you go around massa, you kind of head nod and you kind of lower yourself. So you could be strong, big and strong and mighty, but they need you to be feeble-minded. So think about today and what we're dealing with today. I've been discriminated more in the last 3 years than I've ever been in my entire lifetime. But I understand, because most people are intimidated by a black man with an education, a black man with knowledge, and a black man with the heart and the courage to do right and speak the truth. I've been having conversations with females and their gay constituents, meaning their gay brothers, and I'm sitting back like, what are you guys, and you guys are not going to even procreate? Do you know that's literally a play for genocide? Think about that. You guys are not making babies, you're not having families, and somehow the scripts are being flipped. The women are aggressive and the men are weak and feeble-minded. Listen, our ancestors didn't choose that path. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. So now this is our opportunity to do what's right. God, man, woman, and child. And if you didn't know, the man and the woman are co-equals, and we need to work together. But the only way that happens if we get the devil out of that equation. Because the first story of the Bible, when they failed, Adam, what have you done? Who told you was naked? He turned and said, listen, the woman that you gave me, she gave me something and I partook of it. Then they turned and said, Eve, what have you done? Eve switched and turned and pointed to the devil and said, he deceived me. So that deceiver, we got to get that deceiver out the way. Because the only way we're going to be harmonious, the only way we're going to stand together, the only way we're going to be connected if we get the deceiver, the devil, Lucifer, Satan out of our lives. And this is what I'm sharing with you today, because man didn't tell me this. I got this strictly spiritual out the Bible through Revelation. So if you look at the options that they've given us, and if you look at, the options to vote, it's literally God versus the devil. God versus the devil, good versus evil, or literally, the flesh versus the spirit. So we got to get out of the flesh and be more spiritual. And in this election, go ahead and put our money where our mouth is. Stop playing, stop being scared, stop doing what we're told to do, and stop allowing older people, baby boomers, to continue to tell us to do what's wrong because they benefited off the past. Because the decisions that they made, they're still in those positions of power, and they're looking at these generations get slaughtered. Like Eric Michael Dyson said, all we got is Trump and Biden. Ain't nothing we can do about it. That's BS. BS. There is third-party options. Dr. Cornel West is putting his name and career on the line with his running mate, Melina Abdullah. We're running a third-party coalition, and we're writing in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because democracy is the catalyst. Democracy is the catalyst, and words mean a lot. Think of the root word demo from democracy. If I told you I just put out an album and I'm about to go platinum, and you say, where can I find your music? On Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, and I say, here's a cassette tape, listen to my demo. Think about it. Demo. Demon, diablo, or devil in Spanish and Portuguese. The word crasi means to rule or rule by the devil. So boom, we figured it out. It's not chess, it's not checkers, this is chess. We figured it out. We know that democracy is a catalyst, and democracy does not mean democratic or republic. Democracy means a two-party system where you got to fight and you got to choose between two parties that is not right. Just imagine if you were basically, going for your doctoral degree and you can't even study because somebody in your life don't want you to get it. So they're doing everything that they can do to stop you from elevating. That's no different than us in the Republican Party having to deal with these Democrats, man. Okay? These people that changed my race into an ethnicity because in the 60s we would say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. They were scared of that. What do they do? Turn us into an ethnicity and tell our sons, you could be a woman if you want to. And now in these democratic schools, you don't even have to, the teachers don't even have to tell the parent if their children identify in a different sex. Okay, but you tell them, oh, he's struggling in math, he got a C, but he coming to school wearing dresses. You don't want to call and tell a parent that? That's crazy. Because at the end of the day, we're living in a world of learned behaviors. So we're literally going to be punished if we don't do what's right. So I'm giving you an option. I did it in the last election. I wrote in Jesus Christ. Actually, I wrote my name in. I'm going to be honest with you, because I could not select Lucifer or Satan. But this election, there's somebody that's much bigger than me, much bigger than I, much bigger than any individual, any party. And we're got to go with that third party option because there's other individuals that's going to be on that ballot. Okay. You just only hear about Trump and Biden. And just tell me, why is there not anybody running against Biden on the Democratic side? That's slavery. Do what you're told, boy. Do what you do. Do what we tell you to do, you bed wench and concubine. Do what we tell you to do, you prostitute. Do what we tell you to do. And if you don't, then we're going to destroy you. But they only could break you if they make you. And a lot of us, we didn't take the deal. When it was time for me to take the deal, I looked back, saw a barrier, and I went on by my business. And when they asked me, what did you see? I didn't see nothing but a barrier, and my slate is clean. So we're dealing with powers, principalities, evildoers in high places. So therefore, we're going to really have to understand that we cannot continue to go down this road. Einstein said it best. You keep doing the same thing and expect a different outcome. That's insanity. So we got to choose righteousness over unrighteousness. We got to choose God over the devil because we're dealing in this. And if you want to break it down to another layer, we got to choose our spirit over the flesh. And we can't let nobody tell us what to do because it's a crab bucket system. Because you know how the crabs, they just want to keep you down. But we're dealing with crab bucket syndrome. We're dealing with post-traumatic slavery. We're dealing with the Willie Lynch letter. We're dealing with all of these things. And the sad thing about it is that it's people that look like us, sound like us, walk like us, talk like us. The individuals that they selected to work for them. Because they can't come into our community and tell us what to do. But they'll tell, Michael Eric Dyson, to come to our community and tell us, we don't have no choice. Biden sees us. Man, you ought to be out of your mind. When I say out of your mind, I mean out of your mind. Okay? It's not going down. So listen, man, I'm going to keep these things coming because this year, it's election year. God's people shall not perish due to the lack of knowledge. Knowledge is the first gift that God gives us. So we're going to have to continue these conversations and pray for me as I pray for you because I'm going to start figuring out how to share the screen and how to comment and read your comments live. We got to do. So as people, it's only one race on this planet. That's the human race. Okay. And the only group of people that can end racism this year is the black race. So we can't support this anymore. So we're going to do this. We're going to write in the blood of the Lamb. We're going to write in Jesus Christ. And if you go to that Bible, start reading that Bible, and pretty much we're putting the blood of the Lamb over our doors. So when the famine comes, we don't be affected by it because it's biblical. The children of Abraham will be stolen from their land, dwell in a foreign land, be cast as slaves, duly oppressed for exactly 400 years. And they told me that they were operating on a 360 calendar. So this August will be 400 years. They should come out with great wealth, reparations, and God will punish the oppressors. So, we're tired of being punished. We're tired of being cursed. So now it's time for us to stand our ground, stand for righteousness, and let the individuals that's doing their thing, you know, hey, ain't got nothing to do with us. So with that being said, man, I know I'm long-winded, but man, I'm gonna keep tapping in, and believe me, just pray for me, because this platform about to change, and I'm gonna be throwing links and things in the comments so y'all can actually connect with me, so we can actually do the do. So with that being said, man, you have a beautiful day. This your man Bushan Glover, Better Black America TV. Peace out.